Brandon. Am I in shock? Chris Paul tested positive for COVID apparently, and he's in jeopardy of missing game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. If the Clippers curse wasn't enough, it seems to be following Chris Paul now. But let's give some insight a little more on the situation for the viewers joining us right now. Chris Paul tested positive, and according to Matt Barnes on The Jump, he is vaccinated. So this stint that he might miss may be shorter than he would have missed if he was not vaccinated, but he's still in jeopardy of missing game 1. You want to give some more insight on the situation, Brandon?
We're waiting.
Yeah, so how the league protocols work is
that you could
players can miss different amount of times. It could be very short just because of contract tracing, or they're investigating the contract trace. So it could be that that you ran into someone that possibly has it. Even though if you test negative, they still want to make sure that you're all right, so you can be sitting out for a little bit.
Player safety is number one priority.
If you do test, yeah, true. Even though the schedule, not for player safety, but that's for a different video. But you also look at examples of players actually getting COVID-19, and the fact that the issue then becomes is how long they have to sit out for it, and they keep getting tested. Usually I think it's 10 to 14 days, and then they'll get reevaluated. So they could be missing multiple weeks if even after the 10 to 14 days, they have COVID-19. They still have COVID-19 in their system. If it doesn't pass. Mm-hmm. Thankfully for Chris Paul's case, that the reports are that he is vaccinated. That the reports are the fact that he did get, I believe it was the Pfizer vaccine. So the fact that he was at least vaccinated, doesn't matter from what or which one. He was able to. It's still going to affect them. They are going to reevaluate him on Saturday, to see if he still has it in his system.
Let me go ahead.
There's some optimistic around that, but
there's a chance that he can miss game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. If he does theoretically miss this game, do the Suns have a shot against either the Clippers or the Jazz, whoever wins the series, facing in that game 1, regardless of his? Let's look at if Chris Paul's out. Do they have a shot?
If Chris Paul is out the whole series, I wouldn't think so. As much as I love the Suns and I love what they've been able to do with Monty Williams, who I thought should have won Coach of the Year, even as much as I want to say Booker can carry them, because we have seen him do it without Chris Paul, I believe against the Lakers as well.
Yeah.
When Chris Paul got his shoulder hurt.
Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms.
It's just unfortunate the fact that he might have to do it. But Ayton, I think, against either one of those teams could also step up. We also seen Campaign also step up as the backup point guard, but now he's going to definitely have to fill in the role as the main point guard and the main ball distributor. So, and he's done that well when he's been called upon, with the bench unit. So I think the fact that we're going to have to see maybe at least game 1 without Chris Paul, I think it might hurt them for that game. But if it's the whole series, I would bet on either the Clippers or Utah at that point.
If Chris Paul misses the first game theoretically and they lose it, and he comes back for the second game, do you think they could still win the series if they lose the first one without Chris Paul?
If he comes back, I think he's gonna play a difference. It depends if he's not showing any symptoms, I think that's gonna also be a positive for him, because the symptoms might affect his health, and also just the fact that he might not be able to play basketball right now might affect him performing, because we see that rust could affect the team and the player overall and how they play. And game preparedness sharpness is a big thing. So it could play a big role as to what he's like, but again, there's optimism about that he could return for game 1. That if we evaluate on Saturday he doesn't have COVID, he could come back for game 1. But we're gonna have to wait and see, just because it's something where you don't want to risk other players' safety. You don't want to risk anyone else potentially getting it as well. So it could be that even though he's ready for game one, that league protocols dictate that and the NBA might say that he might have to miss the first 2 games of the series. And if that's the case, I still believe that Booker could step up and maybe take one of those games, especially against one of these 2 teams.
And it's a different series. The second Chris Paul comes back.
Yeah.
So
if it's the whole series, it's going to be a toss-up.
Yeah. So as many NBA fans know, if your team is eliminated, it is currently the rally in the valley. Everybody who is not with a team, supporting a team in the playoffs currently right now, is likely rooting for the Suns. And if this puts their season in jeopardy, I know a lot of NBA fans who want to see Chris Paul get his ring are going to be very, very frustrated, including myself. So hopefully this can be resolved. Hopefully this is a non-issue at the end of the day and we're just stressing about it for no reason. But there is a possibility that he could miss a game or several games in the Western Conference Finals. So hopefully the situation can get all cleared up in due time, and we will cover it again for you the second it does. Thank you so much for tuning into another video of the Banter Broadcast. Please make sure to leave a like, consider subscribing. It is free and you can always unsubscribe, and we'll see you next time on the next video.